And there are often times when you want to communicate something in a 3D model. Changing the color displays is a great way of highlighting objects. In this video I will show you 3 ways to do that. We'll be covering the display color and display attributes components new in Rhino 8. Both of these components only have pass-through parameters. The display color component has 3 parameters. The display color, a source for the material. You can use the layer color or the material color or custom or whatever you want. Or you can just plug in a color parameter. Or use this slider to select the color that you want. The display attributes component has 4 parameters. The display color. This is where you would plug the display color component. Next is the display mode. If you right click on this, you can set the display mode from the Rhino model's display modes. And the isocurve density. You can change this integer to show how much isocurves you will see on a surface. Here is an example in which I show you 3 ways to change the custom color previews. The first one is with the original custom preview component. This is the most simple way. You can just plug a color into the material input and your geometry, and you will get a display of a Grasshopper object on Rhino. The second way here is using the model object component and changing the display color of a layer with the model layer component. Now as I push the model object into Rhino content cache, I am getting the Rhino object on the layer, and the layer has the color that I wish to use. You can tell the Grasshopper created and the Rhino objects apart by looking at these subdivision lines. The Grasshopper components do not have them. There is also a slight difference in color between the objects. Now the third way is to use the display color and display attributes components. I have connected another color into the display color component and connected the display color with the display attributes component, and as I connect the display attributes to the display input of the model object component, this will override the color that comes from the model layer, because now this color is the color of this Rhino object. Now this behavior also happens if I go to Rhino, create a box here on the sphere layer. Now this gets the red color from the display color of the sphere layer. And if I change the color of this object to custom and select a black color, now the color of this object overrides the layer color. Now you need to remember that the display color is different from the rendered color of the material. Now when we are working with viewports that do not use the rendered graphics, we are using the display colors. Now, in my display attributes component, I have set this to be by view. Now this means that if I were to change my view to rendered view, I would not be getting the black display color that I wanted, because now this is using the material settings of the Rhino objects, and you can see that the material is default material, which it now renders as white. The custom preview component is still a Grasshopper object, so this rendering does not affect it. If you wish to, for example, highlight certain objects in the rendered view, you can use the display attributes display mode input and change this to always show the shaded view. Now you will get the preview color that you decided, but now this object does not use the rendered graphics. Here we can also test how changing the isocurve density affects what you see. I'm going to create a number slider and connect it to the input, and now you can see that we just get a more detailed review on how the curves on the surfaces go. If we connect a negative value, the isocurve display is completely ignored.